Hi Queens, it's your favorite midwife at your cervix midwife Nelson, and I am back with another midwifery minutes. And today I will be giving you some tricks and tips on how to dilate faster during labor, right? And who doesn't want to have a quicker, more seamless, nicer, spicier labor and delivery, right? Who wants to be in labor for 24 hours? Not me, and definitely not you. So guess what? You can actually thank me now or later. You can thank me now by clicking on the subscribe button and liking this video, and make sure you leave your comments down below, right? So without further ado, we are going to get right into the video. So tip number 1, avoid having a full bladder, as your bladder takes up space in the lower pelvis when it's full. And if you have a full bladder taking up space in the pelvis, it will make it harder for the baby to descend into the pelvis for delivery. So I suggest emptying your bladder at least every hour on the hour. The other point that ties into tip number 1 is to also empty your rectum, right? You do not want to have a full rectum and the baby isn't being able to descend into the pelvis as quickly and as effortlessly as possible. So definitely empty your rectum in order to have quicker labor. Trick number 2, avoid laying on your back. Yes, once you're in labor, avoid laying on your back. I'm not saying that you cannot lay on your back, but even if you're laying on your back, the ideal position on your back would be to prop yourself up with some pillows, but do not lay flat on your back. Reason being, your heavy uterus will be compressing major vessels that normally bring oxygen to the baby, right? So you do not want to be laying directly on your back. Contractions are also less effective when you're laying on your back, and it actually lessens the baby's ability to maneuver his or herself into the lower pelvis. So you definitely don't want to be laying on your back. Another point 3, tip 3, trick 3, you don't want to be in one position throughout your labor. Like, you don't want to be laying on your left side for the whole labor, right? You don't want to be laying on your right side for your whole labor, and you definitely don't want to be on your back for your entire labor. So changing position can actually help to promote the baby to maneuver his or herself better into the lower pelvis for delivery. Trick number 4, do not tense up your body, like, period. So especially, what persons don't know is that tension in the upper body also promotes tension in the lower body. So let's say you're clenching your jaws, you're stiffening up yourself, you're closing your mouth, you're just tense. Basically what's going to happen is your cervix is going to be tense, the lower part of your body is going to be tense, so it's definitely going to affect your dilatation. So your cervix are going to dilate way slower when you tense up. your upper body, right, or have any tension at all in your body. So you have to relax, try to relax even when you're having the pain, right? As they would say, you need to surrender to the surges or surrender to your contractions. So you know that contractions have to happen for your beautiful bundle of joy to come out, to be delivered, right? So you contractions, as much as it may be intense and it may be painful and it may be a little unpleasant, it has to happen in order for the baby to come out, right? So you definitely want to surrender to your contractions. So you want to make sure you're doing your proper breathing techniques, your proper breathing exercises, and breathe properly. Next tip or trick: avoid eating too little or too much during labor. So when you eat too much, your intestines are going to be filled up, and basically your intestine going to be competing with your uterus in the pelvis, right? So you don't want to have too much food in your intestines, because you don't want that to be competing with the space of the uterus in the pelvis, and you don't want basically to prevent or to slow down the baby's descension into the pelvis. And when you eat too little food, you're not going to have enough energy. Like, you're going to be laboring, but because you don't have enough energy to labor, your cervical dilatation will definitely be slower. So you want to have enough energy, so you're going to eat just enough to give you enough energy for labor. So you're not going to overeat, where I go basically slow you down or take up too much space, and then the baby can't descend down into the pelvis. But at the same time, you want to eat enough. You want to strike a balance, right? So you want to eat enough so you can have enough energy to labor. So my final tip and trick: avoid being stressed in labor. I know persons may be saying, but Midwife Nelson, labor itself is stress. No, labor does not have to be stress. If you come in with the right attitude, the right, mental outlook, you definitely will not have a problem. I mean, I know that labor can be intense and it can be painful, but if you come in with the right approach, if you educate yourself, do your research, come in confident knowing that your body was made for this, then what can stop you, right? What can stop your labor from being the best labor and delivery? But you definitely need to avoid being stressed during labor, point blank, period. So reason for this is there are two hormones that the body needs during labor, and number one is oxytocin, right? And the other one is endorphins. So oxytocin is released during labor and delivery, and this hormone normally allow the contraction. It actually keeps the contraction flowing, and remember that you need to be having contractions for your baby to be born, right? The other one is endorphins. Endorphins are basically your body's natural pain relief. So it's your body's natural painkiller, right? So if you're stressed, you won't be producing any of these two hormones, and you do not want to be not producing these hormones, because without oxytocin, You're not going to have effective contractions, and you're going to be in labor for way longer, and your cervix is not going to dilate as fast as how it's supposed to dilate. And without endorphins, you're gonna feel more pain. You are going to feel more pain during labor, and this is going to be very challenging. So you definitely need to avoid stress, and some persons may even feel stressed by, you know, just the environment that they're in, that they're laboring in. They may feel stressed by maybe not being prepared mentally. They may even feel as if, you know, they're in an unsafe situation. They may feel like, because of how intense the contractions may feel. So we are at the end of another midwifery minutes. I do hope that you learned a lot, and I do hope that you will employ all of my tips for a smoother, quicker, more seamless labor and delivery. Please remember to comment down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay safe. Love you guys. See you in the next video.
She likes chocolate covered strawberries and wine. She likes notes that say I love you all the time. Roses at your feet.